can we have a teacher come and give us a short opening prayer? Quickly, quickly, quickly. Show by a raise of your hands. Yes, thank you. A round of applause for her, please.
Father, because it's a success already. In Jesus' name we pray.
Thank you very much. Can we all be seated? Everywhere is a bit quiet. Seplat teachers! Seplat teachers! Seplat teachers! Fantastic. That's the energy we want to hear in the room today. You're welcome. My name is Charles Ifediba, and I'll be guiding you through the program today. Thank you very much. We can see that actually we are in a state full of those who are timely. All right, just before I do the introductions, it is mandatory where we work at Seplat Energy that we talk a little bit about safety when we start a program. Please, if you have your phones on, kindly put them on silent so that you will not be disturbing the proceedings today. There will be no fire drills today, I've been informed. So should we hear any fire alarm, there are 4 exits and entrances from this hall. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The conveniences are over here and over there, but I'll prefer we go use the one over there. Thank you, and I know that maybe later on we will have a safety video going on.
Everyone's talking about climate change, but what is our climate?
2 hours is going to be heavily packed. It's going to be a lot of fun because today is the Seplat JV Education Summit, and it is themed Transforming the Education Workforce, a critical success factor for nation building. Today also happens to be the graduation of the 2023 set of the Seplat teachers who have been empowered. And I welcome you. Noticing that everybody in the hall has been timely, I'm going to recognize our dignitaries here briefly, and we will stand on that protocol for the rest of today. I think I will start with our host here in Edo State. She has been a friend of the house, the Honorable Commissioner, Edo State, the Commissioner for Education, Dr. John Uvuawe. All right, the Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Imomotimi Dennis Gwawo, represented by Honorable Charles Emetu in Ndukwa West constituency, and Chairman Committee on Education, Delta State House of Assembly. You're welcome. Okay, also seated at the high table, I cannot but call the COO. He's double hatting today. He's also representing the Chief Executive Officer of Seplat Energy PLC. He's the Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Samson Ezugori. To his immediate left, of course, I'm sure you all welcomed her when she came in. Beauty and Brains, Chioma Afe, the Director, Okay, I need not say more. You already know her. All right, we have the Honorable Commissioner of Secondary Education, Delta State, Mrs. Rose Ezewu, represented by Mrs. Justina Ishaka, the Deputy Director, Schools Department, Delta State Ministry of Secondary Education. Okay, still seated here at the high table. This is a special guest we have today. Her name is Miss Beatrice Eyong, the country representative to United Women, Nigeria, and ECOWAS. She's represented today by Mrs. Patience Ikeoba, the National Program Officer, Coordination and Partnerships. Seated to her immediate left is our Managing Director, Seplat West. We call him Ogayo, and he's represented today by the base manager, Mr. Emmanuel Otokine. We have a lot of distinguished, swinging to the left, the very timely people, the senior leadership. That is to show you how seriously Seplat holds this program. I'll start from in front of me. Her name is Grace Amadi. She's the General Manager, Business Relations. To her immediate left, our lady in Abuja, the General Manager, Government Relations, Hadiza Gabrati. All powerful people. And of course, when we talk about D&I, we are talking about what? Who knows? Okay, in case you don't know, opposite me right here, our manager, D&I from the Human Resources Department is our own. She's my sister, so every time, our own very Uche and Ajemba, please. D&I, okay, right opposite me, is in charge of measurements, and he's going to be doing a lot of evaluation today. He's the General Manager, Supply Chain Manager, Valentine Agu. My direct boss, the Senior Manager, you're already clapping. Please stand up. Esther Icha, the Senior Manager, Corporate Social Investment. And of course, the person who takes care that all our things remain the same, Ahmed Audu, our Seplat Brand Manager. Thank you very much for that welcome. I promise you that it's going to be a very, 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 very fast day today. I'll recognize the other gentlemen you can see on the other row as time goes on. But right about now, I'd like for us to call on our welcome address is going to be had today by our MD Seplat West. So I'll be calling on Mr. Emmanuel Otokine to give us a welcome address.
Thank you. Welcome address by the Managing Director, Seplat West Limited, Mr. Ayodele Olatunde. So you're going to be hearing Ayo's voice through the speech, certainly. He would have loved to be here, but unfortunately he's not here, so I'm here to represent him. All protocols fully and respectfully observed. Distinguished guests, esteemed educators, honored participants and colleagues, a resounding good morning to each of you gathered here today for the remarkable convergence of the Seplat Teachers Empowerment Program and the Education Summit. It is with intense pleasure and deep reverence that we welcome you to this transformative event today. In this momentous occasion, where knowledge meets inspiration, let us reflect on the profound influence that educators were in shaping the very fabric of the society. Beyond the confines of traditional roles, teachers emerge as beacons of wisdom and mentors of character and architects of boundless potential. Through their unwavering dedication, teachers instill in our youths the virtues of curiosity, resilience, and a lifelong pursuit of learning. Today's program stands as a beacon of our unwavering commitment to championing and empowering educators in this noble quest for excellence. We acknowledge that teaching profession, it is a sacred calling that demands perpetual growth adaptability, innovation in the face of ever-evolving challenges and opportunities. You will agree with me that the education space has drastically changed, and that in the next few years, if you don't have digital skills, you probably will be living in a different world, or you probably, it will seem as if you don't live in this world anymore. The collective mission of the NEPS Seplat JV is to equip teachers with the tools, knowledge, and resources essential for thriving in today's dynamic education landscape, while leaving an indelible mark on the lives of the students. As we trod on in this eventful and fulfilling journey, which commenced in 2021, we encourage our teachers and education policy makers, and I'm happy the Honorable Commissioner for Education is here today, the speaker is here, and all the other educators are all here today. So we encourage our teachers and education policy makers in Edo and Delta State in particular, and indeed in the entire country, let us refine our resolve and remain resolute to not only impart knowledge, but also to cultivate a spirit of community and collaboration among our educators. That's very important. This platform serves as a conduit for sharing experience, exchanging innovative ideas, and fostering a network of support and solidarity. Today, and indeed together, united by our shared commitment to excellence, we can surmount common obstacles, celebrate triumphs, and catalyze positive change within our school and our communities. In the words of Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Without education, really, you wouldn't even know what is going on in the other places. Let us heed this profound wisdom as we embark on this collective endeavor to empower minds, uplift spirit, and shape a brighter future for the generations to come. As we commence this momentous occasion, I extend my warmest welcome to each distinguished guest present here today. Your presence enriches this gathering with wisdom and purpose. Thank you for the dedication to the noble cause of education. Let us embark on this journey together with hearts full of hope, minds beaming with innovation, and spirit ignited with passion. Welcome to the Seplat Teachers and Graduation Ceremony. Thank you.
Did I hear you clap, Seplat teachers?
Right. Good morning, colleagues and friends. Please pardon me to stand on the existing protocol already established, and also say upfront that I do not have a written speech. But let me go back memory lane and say to our distinguished colleagues on the table here, the government of Delta and Edo states, and by extension Imo State, where we operate, and our senior partners, and then Seplat management. I see a tripod here. There is a unison in the ambition and direction of the government, our senior partners, and then Seplat. Why do I say this? I don't know if you remember, but last year we were together. I think it's in this room or somewhere else, and it was all about education. We clearly, as an organization, recognize that there is a problem, and we need to come back frontally to attack that problem. The education system in the country today is not where it should be, and we know that that is the bedrock of development. if the youth of this country are not developed, of that, there is a hunger in the mind of Seplat with the senior partners, which came in unison with the drive of the state governments in the areas we operate. And that coming together of minds and ambition is what is driving. Has a 4-year history and has potentials to continue to grow strength by strength. And it is just on that note that I would like to say thank you everyone for your commitment to this noble objective. If you look at it from the other point of view, in terms of economy, for the people who can afford it, they send their children out of country for education. That calls to mind that we are, if I'm generous, almost a failing generation, because we have failed our own generation and generations behind us. So we needed to do something urgent. Our country loses a lot of revenue because if you think about it in dollar terms, I don't have the right figures, but it will run into maybe billions of dollars that leave this country every year for paying children's school fees out of country. Ladies and gentlemen, I schooled my primary education in a community primary school. My secondary school was in a community secondary school. My university education was in University of Nigeria, Nsukka. And before I left the university in the last year of the 80s, we used to have foreign lecturers come to Nigeria to teach. We used to have foreign students come to Nigeria to study. Today, we flipped it. So, without taking much of your time, I would like to just encourage every one of us to really live this vision through to realization. My father used to say that if you want your dream to come true, don't oversleep. And that is the call to action. I would like to also recognize our teachers in the room, because I was taught by a teacher. So the teachers in the room, you make people. And please take pride. Thank you. You should be proud of the things you do. I'm sure your teachers will be proud to see you and say, yes, that guy was my product. A sense of satisfaction. Then, I will call on our young ones, if they are in the room, and if they are not, because again, this is about teachers. Please take the message strongly back to them. On learning, which is a more sustainable thing that you need to do. So on that note, I would just like to again say to you, thank you very much for stepping out, creating time to be part of this event. For the Seplat JV, we are committed to running this year on year and growing this. And it is our desired hope that this will continue to be the catalyst upon which education and sustainability is maintained within our operating areas and then extended to the entire country. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. All right, so you all clap for Beauty when she came in, and Beauty has a name today, this morning. Her name is Chioma Afe, the Director, External Affairs and Social Performance.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, teachers. Okay, so I have a speech, Sam. I wish I could speak as eloquently, but I had to write it down. So I think Sam set the tone for us today in just speaking to why we are all here. And Sam, the number is $900 million last year, first 6 months spent on education abroad by Nigerians. So imagine the multiplicity of that over the past decade. And imagine if that money came back into the country and was used to develop the education value chain and ecosystem. Where will we find ourselves, you teachers and the students that you impart knowledge on? So I'll be speaking very briefly, and it's to sort of set the tone and not to take the shine from our keynote speaker, around education value chain and the workforce and some of the challenges that have been experienced. And again, to give some background as to why we do what we do at NMPC Seplat JV. In Nigeria, the education value chain plays a crucial role in shaping the workforce and in driving socioeconomic development. Today, our esteemed panelists and our speakers will discuss on the theme, Transforming the Education Workforce, a critical success factor for nation building. And with your kind permission, I want to preach for a couple of minutes to the converted, because I believe we're all converted on this particular mission, around the state of the value chain and the challenges that we find within. At the beginning, or at the foundation of the education value chain, is primary and secondary education. In Nigeria, this basic education is crucial to laying the groundwork for future learning. However, access to quality early education for children remains a challenge, especially in our rural areas. And this is not restricted to our operating areas for Seplat and NPC, but across the nation. Nigeria offers secondary education through junior and senior secondary schools, preparing our children for higher education or workforce entry. And I'll pause here to say that the students that you teach, some of them are unable to proceed to higher education. That is as a result of lack of funds, amongst other things. So your role as teachers, and indeed our role in influencing and advocating for basic education, is really, really critical, because at this point we form everything for these children, and then they go out into the workforce. Despite steps made in increasing access to quality education, there remain disparities in the quality and in the resources across different regions. And this highlights the need for uniformity in improved resources and quality, especially as our children get into secondary education and proceed thereon. Higher education institutions, our polytechnics, our colleges of education, our universities, they do play a pivotal role in shaping the workforce, in providing specialized training and skills development in various fields. Again, there are challenges: limited funding, infrastructure deficiencies, and outdated curricula, and these hinder their effectiveness in Nigeria. So we must all agree that lifelong learning is crucial for career advancement in Nigeria. We all continue as individuals to improve our skills and knowledge throughout life. However, access, again, to such programs remains limited, especially for those in the informal sector and in the rural areas. In the context of workforce development, the education value chain faces several challenges. Number one, there's a need for enhanced quality and relevance at all levels. It is urgent that we equip our graduates with the necessary skills and the competencies for real-life labor market. Education disparities persist amongst our socio-economic groups, and it affects inclusive growth, and poverty reduction efforts. We need to address these disparities in order to promote inclusive development. The third thing, our educational institutions across board, both basic and tertiary, are grappling with inadequate infrastructure, including our classrooms, libraries, laboratories, access to energy, simple power to power these institutions. And then we have our teachers who lack the necessary support and additional qualification, instructional materials that would help them to be able to impart knowledge and empower the next generation. And therefore, we lack significant investment in all these areas. Clearly, there's a need for collaboration. Sam, the COO, speaking on behalf of Seplat Energy and indeed also on behalf of NMPC Seplat, is saying that we will continue to invest. But I charge everyone here who has a representation of private sector that we all need to collaborate with educational institutions and the government to align our needs for the labor market and then to invest to help change the face of education in this country. This will help us reduce unemployment, underemployment, because we will now be producing graduates with the skills and knowledge required for available job opportunities. We can collaborate across various areas, but in this context of why we are here today, I charge us to collaborate in the improvement of the quality of teaching, which is essential for enhancing learning outcomes. Teacher training programs, capacity building initiatives, all these help equip our educators with the skills and knowledge needed to deliver effective instruction and support student learning. Finally, let me reiterate that the education value chain in Nigeria is intricately linked to workforce development and socioeconomic development. Therefore, our role in addressing these challenges and gaps within the value chain is essential to this nation and to each one of us as we strive to build a skilled and productive workforce that can drive Nigeria's growth and our development in years to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Didn't we all like that? Didn't we all like that? Seplat teachers! Seplat teachers! Seplat teachers! Fantastic. Right now it's time to stand up and make welcome Dr. Joan Oviawe, the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Delta State. Edo State. The Honorable Commissioner for Education, Edo State. I know you all love hearing from her.
Please be seated. Good morning, everyone. Teachers are great. Seplat teachers. You are just Seplat teachers for today only. I know you know that. Good morning once again. It's good to be here. And please permit me to stand on a already established protocol. Thank you very much for what you are doing for us, for joining and expanding on our efforts to better equip our teachers. can excel. It is not easy to be a teacher, particularly in the public schools of today. And that is why I was elated when Esther Icha, where is she seated? She's always hiding. Thank you for all you do. When she told me that majority of the teachers from Edo in this program are from our public schools, I was very pleased. How they can monetize their intellect. I was quite pleased because, as we all know, part of the struggle with quality education in Nigeria is that we're in the 21st century, but our education system is still stuck in the 18th century and stuck in the colonial foundations of training people, training indigenous people to become clerks, low-level clerical work. And we are a country facing all kinds of crises. And in order for us to be able to move forward, we must have a different kind of education system that produces a different kind of graduates. So for us in Edo State, under the able and visionary leadership of His Excellency, Governor Godwin Oregase Obaseki, for the last 7 years, we have been focused on education reform through our Edo Best framework. You are hearing on social media that people are protesting, people are starving. It's true. There is food insecurity. Whereas in a lot of our schools, particularly in the urban centers, we've got large tracts of land that we are not using. Can we not convert those into school gardens? Can't we even give it to communities to plant and benefit themselves? So there's a lot that we can do. And the only reason we are interested in what Seplat is doing is because it is meaningful and laden with value. We are a and when we meet partners that can speak our language, we are equally excited. So, as we are and see how you are putting all this good work to use. Am I invited? Thank you very much. Good job, you. So, on that note, welcome to Edo. Thank you, Seplat. Thank you, NNPC. And We look forward to more and more from you people. And lastly, please, I want to really apologize. Today has turned out to be an ordeal, a scheduling ordeal for me. Why I would have loved to stay to the end, but I will have to sneak out at some point. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dr. Can we make some fruit salad for her? Can we make some fruit salad for her? Water. Water. Master! Thank you very much. Thank you very much, madam. All right, she spoke about a couple of things which I will talk to in a bit. I would like to recognize the presence of the member representing Ovia North East constituency. He is also the chairman committee on solid minerals, mining, oil and gas, Edo State House of Assembly, Honorable Andrew Osadolo Uzamere. You're welcome, sir. I'd like to also welcome Mr. Tunde Omoefi of the Edo State House of Assembly Committee on Oil and Gas. He is the secretary. Where is he? Oh, okay, he's waving from the back. Could you come forward, sir? We have seats over here for you. Come to the fore. I would like you to sit beside a special guest all the way from Lagos. She's very interested in education and she's observing very keenly. Please give it up for Bimbo Oloyede. All right, having stated that, this program has empowered a lot of teachers, and we'll be seeing the 3 best products that they have to offer here. And to be able to assess those programs, I would like to tell you who the panel of judges will be. The judges will be led by Mr. Valentine Agu. He will be judging the products that you are going to be seeing sharply. Stand up to be recognized. And then, of course, he's our GM supply chain. And because we are talking about judgment and measurement, we'll be having someone from UNDP, Mr. Yinka Akibu. He's an expert in measurements and evaluation. He's also going to be judging. We're going to be having, of course, Ken Ekbas. Ken Ekbas is double hatting today. He's going to be one of the judges. Please wave to the audience. And then, of course, right in front of me, we're going to be having the GM Business Relations, Grace Amadi, who is also going to be one of the judges. Now, having stated that, we mentioned 3 things are here, and there is a surprise gift up for grabs. I'll call on the first school, Abiogu Grammar School, to come and make their own presentation. A round of applause for them. You have 5 minutes. Judges, do you need pen, paper, and then something to score them with?
Good morning, my dignitaries, my fellow teachers, and Seplat team as a whole. Seplat teachers! Seplat teachers! Seplat teachers! I want to indeed say a big thank you to Seplat and his team for this program put up for us as teachers. We are from Abiogu Grammar School, Isoko South local government area of Delta State. We are actually a 3-member, but one of us. We, from Seplat program, were able to learn how to use car tire to make a sofa, stool, or center table. And we use some materials like the car tire, evosti gum, foam. We want each foam, a board, a ply board, and a gum, a stapler, and others. And we're able to put up these 5 in order to represent what we have learned. We also sent the video across. This, you can sit on it. Please place it on the floor. You can sit on it. This is another one which you can sit on it. Please bring those ones. Then we have a table, a center stool, which can serve at the middle of the room. You don't need to sit on it. This is just a center table. Then this one is also a center table. With the help of what we learned from Seplat, we were able to put this together using the car tire, which ought to be wasted. We gathered them and made use of them and produced this. Thank you, Seplat. Thank you. Thank you. Abiogu Grammar School, Isoko South, local government.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so that we'll make it faster, instead of taking the other presentations in separate times, I've been advised by the judges that we'll take them all now, right? All right, can we have M&M Ventures next? A round of applause for M&M Ventures. Quickly, quickly. Oh, sorry, you didn't say how much this costs. $50,200 to make one. Next was made by M&M Ventures. They will introduce themselves.
Seplat teachers. Seplat teachers. Seplat teachers. Standing on already existing protocol, we are M2 Seplat project team. My name is Martha and the name of my colleague is Marvis. Immediately after the Seplat Teachers Empowerment Program last year, we were motivated to create something because the project was centered on innovation, being creative and being articulative. So in our school, we are from Fortune High School in Oredo local government. So we decided to make soap. And this soap is outstanding, knowing fully well that soap performs a lot of SDG goals: good health and well-being, quality education, effective production and consumption. So we came up with a name, M2 Quality Laundry Soap. And this is the name of our soap, M2 Quality Laundry Soap. The M2 is for Martha and Marvis. And this our soap is outstanding. The first thing is the soap removes stain. And it's not like a random soap you see in the market. You know, there are some soap that when you use, it will peel your skin. So we ensure that we test our caustic soda using the hydrometer. And it's quite cheap. So all these things are things you can do with little capital. So we test our caustic soda to ensure that the soap is very, very nice. And also we have good fragrance. Our soap has good fragrance. And one outstanding thing, which is our USP, our unique selling proposition, is the fact that our soap can be used as souvenir. So as part of what we did, we created a soap for Seplat as a tribute to tell them how happy we are with the project, because we are not actually this articulative. But because of this program, we actually did something wonderful. So with our soap, we can use it as souvenir. And how do we get to do this? It's very simple. We created a stamp. Very simple. So with this stamp, we can design for birthday. So in our school, if any child is doing birthday, we use this stamp. We remove the top and put the name of the child. Exactly what we did for Seplat, as you can see, Seplat JV Quality Soap, to show how happy we are. Thank you very much, Seplat.
Thank you very much, M2 Ventures. Oh, I should have this. Incidentally, their first prints they called Seplat. They call Seplat soap, but having learned especially more about compliance and issues of legality, they have changed it to M2. All right, a round of applause for them.
Okay, per tablet of our soap is 300 naira per tablet.
Project. Thank you very much. All right, as you share your soap and go and sit down, we'd like to call on the third project. The third project, I'd like to call on Elo to come and present her third project. A round of applause for her, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, everyone. Standing on existing protocol, I have chandelier lights. The reason why these chandelier lights, Seplat represents energy, and energy has lights. Are you with me? So that is what I have there. I did some beautiful lights. I will display them now. These are local things you see every day. I produce this light with PVC pipe. There is PVC pipe. These are LED lights. These are CDs, empty CDs. So now I'm going to put the lights on, but they have special features. For this light, it has a special features in the sense that because of the situation in Nigeria, there is no lights. Once there's PHCM and the power goes off, there will be a light that can serve you all throughout the night. It works with lithium battery. So this is another one. This one is basically on NEPA lights. You use it only on NEPA lights. But this last one has a special features. It works with NEPA lights and solar power. And it also you can also use it to charge your phone, serve as a power bank. I'm going to put them on for you to see the display. Thank you. So this one has, this is just simple light. This round you are seeing, these are PVC pipe, I cut them out, then I spray them. You know the color of PVC pipe, they are ash color. I have to spray them to look pretty. Thank you.
Can her colleague go and assist her hold it? Can her colleague help her hold it while she's able to talk through? All right, you want to tell us how long it took you to make it and what it cost?
It took me 2 months to come out with this design. I spent almost more than 50K to produce this.
All right, so judges, panel of this distinguished judges, you have your scores. We'll announce it. Oh, you already have it ready? All right, the judges will need to get together to tell us what the results are like so that we can move on to the next. Thank you very much. A round of applause for her, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, she still has something to say. All right, go ahead, hello.
I want the judges to come and see. This one can charge my phone right now. I'll put it on. You can see how beautiful it is. It works with NEPA lights. This is the solar panel. It's there connected to panel. So it has
We also understand that
I'm
Elo
into-
has sold some of her lights
I'm
in the
into
open
Ray-
market.
Ray inverters. Ray, R-O-E-U-A. R-O-E-U. Ray inverters. I'm into installation of solar panels. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elo. While the judges are putting their heads together, I would like to welcome specially the senior partner for the Seplat JV NMPC. His name is Mr. Uzoma Ezulu. He's here representing the MD today. Mr. Ezulu, you're welcome. I also like to recognize Mrs. Halimat Wilson. Please stand up to be recognized. She's watching keenly. She's also of the NMPC from our Eastern Asset. She's watching what is happening here because she wants it replicated in the Eastern Asset. All right, judges, when you're ready, please. As some of the criteria they are using, apart from originality, they are also looking at how useful it is to the society. They are looking at, is it helping the environment, and of course functionality. But I'm not so sure, maybe when they are announcing, they will be able to tell us some of the criteria that they use to arrive at their decisions. Next, kindly cue in Okay, while they are getting ready, please teachers, do you all have this? If you don't have this yet, please indicate by raising your hand and we'll bring a copy over to you. Do you all have this? Because that is what we will be going into next, this session. And here, okay, I also like to recognize the presence of the Permanent Secretary, Delta State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, Mr. Augustine Ohoro. He's a very good friend of ours. He's represented today by Mr. Eze Makins, another good friend of ours. He's an Assistant Director, Schools Department, Delta State Ministry of Education, Secondary Education. A round of applause for him, please. He has also been a Seplat empowered teacher. Okay, so as the judges are getting ready, Next, we would like you to sit back, relax, and let us hear the comments of a subject matter expert. He wanted to be with us so much. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. His name is Sim Shagaya. He's the founder and CEO of ULesson. I'm sure he's actually watching online right now because he has the link and he so sorely wanted to be a part of this. Are we ready with this? All right, thank you.
I wish I could be there with you physically, but I'm hoping you're having a good conference so far. So I thank Seplat Energy just for a really special company, an indigenous energy company that I think we should all be proud of. Thank them for this. Hi there, my name is Sim Shagaya. Really good to be attending this conference with you. I wish I could be there with you physically, but I'm hoping you're having a good conference so far. So I should thank Seplat Energy, first of all, which is a really special company, an indigenous energy company that I think we should all be proud of. Thank them for this opportunity to share some thoughts with you at this Seplat Education Summit. And I'm supposed to speak on transforming the education workforce, the role of digital education, digital technology rather, in post-basic education. I am the CEO of the ULesson Group. We, like Seplat, are an indigenous company, focus exclusively on innovating around the education sector from primary, secondary, all the way through to tertiary. And we've learned quite a few things doing this over the past 5 years and building products that have really penetrated and impacted the market in a strong way. I think it's fair to say that not all technology leads to good outcomes. But in today's world, good outcomes require the use of technology. And this is especially so, I think, in post-basic. We have a number of challenges that we're facing that I believe by definition, technology can help solve. The first challenge that we're facing in my mind is that teachers need continuous training. Never has the world of education changed so fast, which means you need continuous upskilling, continuous upgrading. That's on the one hand. And then the second hand is we don't have, on the other hand is we don't have anywhere close to the number of teachers we need to serve a country that's growing incredibly fast. We're adding in Norway every year now. So this is a country that's growing very, very fast. And so digital technologies must be used in play to take the limited resources we have, the limited people that we have, those people in the audience, and augment them in a way that we can serve a much larger market of students and learners who want to improve. So this is what we have been doing at ULesson. We have historically focused on the student. We've historically focused on supplemental education, but over the past year, we have made a move to go to the core of the education experience, into the classroom. And we're really entering the classroom from these points of view. First of all, the teacher is at the center of the ULesson class board. That's what the platform is called, the class board experience. Some people have mentioned how artificial intelligence or generative AI, machine learning, some of these things will ultimately reduce the need for the physical teacher. I don't subscribe to that at all. I think that individual is going to be incredibly important. And so that's how we innovate, is with the teacher at the center of our innovation. So Classboard is this integrated hardware, software solution from ULesson that is fully loaded with curriculum. A large part of that curriculum is preloaded on the smart board itself. And so you don't necessarily need internet. And it provides these rich, deep resources in several formats, video, static imagery, that takes the load off of the teacher in that very critical experience of the classroom where they're trying to put subject matter together to drive good outcomes. The other part of what Classboard is that we've provided these resources that take 50 or 60% of the workload of the teacher off of their backs. We think we live in a world where teachers need as much help as they can get. And so we provide the lesson plans, and we provide the assessments and the assessment feedback and all of these very critical components to a very good classroom experience. And that's all bundled in Classboard. And then the final way I think that speaks to how digital technology is helping post-basic education and how ULesson in particular is kind of thinking about teachers is that we look forward to providing ongoing teacher training. with our services, with this class board. And all of this is free with that class board. Once a school has acquired this technology, we are providing all of this. So, twice monthly teacher training that constantly upgrade the teacher in the areas of the pedantic, so, in academics and curriculum, but also on the technical, IT level, but also on the, child psychology level about how to deal with, emotional intelligence in classrooms and things like that. So, if I had to tie it all up, I think my general thesis is that this individual, this teacher, which is a very special career, I think, these builders of, our children of tomorrow, I think this role is going to persist for, forever. You can never take the place of that individual. But I do think that we can use digital technology to lighten the load, to upskill constantly, and to design around this individual. That's so critical. So thanks again for the chance to speak to you. I wish you a really good rest of the conference, and thanks Seplat Energy for the invitation. Take care now.
All right, we had to take that so that the judges will be ready. And now that the judges are ready to tell us who the winner was, the second place school and the third place presentation rather, we actually had about 12 presentations showing so many things, ranging from a vacuum cleaner to a boat made of plastic bottle to engaging people in the communities, to teaching people and imparting knowledge. And we selected these three for you to see. At this point, I'd like to invite the panel of judges who is announcing. Okay.
Please come. We had a very heated argument. Even up till now, we're still on it. That's to show you how very transparent and tough it was to make a decision. I will just the criteria. One of the things missing in Nigeria is fairness. And we don't want to be part of those who say things that are not fair enough for everyone to see. So let's start with the process. We decided on 4 criteria. One of it was we wanted innovation to be low cost and for it to be scalable. What is the need when it's so expensive? And this is the last time we see it here. It doesn't make much sense. Innovation is to solve problems, so it should be scalable. The other one too was originality. We felt originality is very important. It should be original to the step teachers that are doing it, not something completely copied from somewhere, Then we also looked at functionality. How functional is it in terms of solving problems? Is it really solving any real problem, or is just trying to do what everybody is doing? So in terms of solving real-time problems was very important. Also, we looked at innovation. Is it truly innovative? That innovation doesn't necessarily mean an app, but what is the competitive edge does it have to change anything? All right, so these 4 criteria we looked at. The first runner-up, my colleague here will be telling us who the first runner-up is. Then we'll go that way. Over to you, sir.
Okay, I am going to stand on established protocols. I'll hand over back to my colleague to tell us.
Second, first. All right. So the second runner-up is M&N Ventures.
A round of applause for them, please.
Thank you so much. Very good innovation. We like what you presented. We don't want to spend so much time, but just to give some word of advice. Yes, we have some innovation. We thought about the quality issues around it also, for you to get it standardized. And we know we have a lot of soap out there, but maybe your branding, some other things can come up to make it more unique. However, we scored you very strong on the fact that it's low cost and you can scale it. So we're saying this innovation it should get a resounding applause for that. All right?
A round of applause, please.
And before you commercialize it, make sure you get approval from Standards Organization of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. So the first runner up, Abioku Grammar School.
Abioku Grammar School.
Yeah, for some comments. You want to give some comments? Yeah. All right. We like the fact that judges are reminding me that the fact that it is the recyclability of the tires to make it more functional. We love the beauty also. It's a home.
Please. One house, please.
You know, the beauty is there. It's innovative because the style and, you know, it's so. Please, let's give it up for them. Well done. It is also scalable. I hope the price won't go more than the 50,000. If you can bring it down, then we want to have it in every house in the Edo State. You know, that's the idea, for it to be cheap enough for everyone to have it. All right. So, the winner. It's very obvious. So it goes to REU Inverters. Let's give it up for them. The reason it's very clear. The reason is very clear. We felt they use climate friendly. You're able to source things locally. Climate friendly, that's where we're going. Without the environment, we won't all be here. Our environment, the earth is dying because we're taking things indiscriminately and all that. But for the fact that you've thought about that, it's beautiful. Keep your products more environmentally friendly. And we also felt you have locally sourced things here. You don't have to buy the parts from abroad. You have them here, you can locally source it. Then recycling the waste too was good. The instant charging, we tried it, it was working. Congratulations. Access to energy. And renewable energy. Thank you so much.
Please, Candy.
Thank you so much, panel
forward.
of judges. Panel of judges, thank you very much. How are you?
Can we
Please
have
come,
the other
please
contestants here?
come. Come back, judges, please.
So
judges.
for the third place prize,
Judges.
we have 250,000 naira to encourage you to do more. For the second place, we have 350,000 naira. And the winner has 500,000 naira.
All right, can we now have them stand with the judges so that they will know those who made them lose the money and those who made them win the money? This is part of what Seplat set out to do, to empower teachers such that in their own spare time, they are able to do something that is not just sustainable, but is also able to put a few things on their table. A round of applause for them, ladies and gentlemen. That is not to say that we did not value all the other inputs, the other contestants. However, not all could be taken today. I already announced, this brings us to the next program, ladies and gentlemen. I already asked if everybody had this. Please, if you have it, open to the page where you will see our keynote speaker, because I cannot effectively talk about him. I will only invite him here, ladies and gentlemen, as you read his profile there, so that we can hear from our keynote speaker today, Dr. Soji Akinyele, the GMD, New Globe. A round of applause for him, Seplat teachers.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to also stand on the previously established protocols. But I have to exclude one as the son of a secondary school teacher myself, who taught French and literature, and I can't speak French to save my life. Apparently.
A round of applause, please.
I must very respectfully acknowledge all the teachers in the room. And I think the chant is Seplat teachers. Seplat teachers.
Seplat teachers? Well, I salute you and thank you very much for all the great work that you do. It is truly an honor to deliver this keynote at this Education Summit and your graduation ceremony of the Seplat Teacher Empowerment Program. This is a celebration of the intersection between education, technological innovation, and partnerships that work towards the transformation of any society. This is actually a transformative force, and I must commend Seplat Energy and their partners for continuing this tradition over the past 4 years. Yes, it's worthy of a round of applause. But I think to better appreciate this, we must cast our minds back, to the state of our schools. So I want you to, just think about any rural school that you've been to in Nigeria today. Think about the chalkboard in that school. Think about the ray of sun as the only source of lighting into that classroom through dusty windows. And then think about a young school teacher, passionate but armed with outdated tools and resources, trying to ignite the young minds of an eager and young generation that truly wants to learn and contribute to society as they grow up. Now, what I've told you to do now is not just a figment of imagination. It is the reality of our ever-developing country, Nigeria. And if we are to truly develop to full potential, we must reprioritize education and the transformation of the education workforce, perhaps as the biblical chief cornerstone that has so often been abandoned in our nation-building project. There is compelling evidence that an education transformation which improves the quality of education will produce a more educated and skilled labor force as they graduate and enter into the workforce. And once that workforce is now made up of entirely members who were themselves products of improved education systems, what you find is that the additional productivity to the economy is at least 0.5 percentage point every year. And in the case of Nigeria, that has been growing at single digits and sub 5% GDP growth, this is an important statistic to note. But education in itself is not a self-fulfilling prophecy. It rests significantly on the shoulders of teachers who are the architects of the young minds of generations now and generations more to come. Transforming the education workforce is therefore not a luxury. It is a necessity of our country. It's a necessity of now, and we must collectively address the issues of teacher shortages, inadequate training, and the low morale, among others, that paint a concerning picture for the future of our education workforce in Nigeria. If it is true that it takes a village to raise a child, as the African proverb says, then I must add that that village must empower the village teacher in order to actually educate that child. So empowered teachers nurture creative and ethical leaders in society. They cultivate a culture of innovation that births new technologies, solutions for national challenges, as you have just seen, from some of the excerpts that we saw there by teachers. They impart knowledge and skills that go beyond just traditional education, but also helps to improve health, reduce inequalities, spur economic growth, allay the challenges of tribal and ethnic tensions, and also advance human rights. Truly, transforming our education workforce lays the foundation of progress across all sectors. Think of any sector, from agriculture to infrastructure to transportation and beyond. It is the tide that actually lifts all boats. And we need not look any further for evidence of this education workforce transformation than our host state today, Edo State, where Seplat Energy has over the past 4 years empowered hundreds of teachers, and education managers at the secondary school level, also in Delta State, and equip them with the necessary technology, the capacity and competence to be able to deliver lessons in science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. We are also witnesses, as the Honorable Commissioner for Education in Edo State mentioned before she left. We are also witnesses to the globally acclaimed Edo Best program, supported by the organization that I work for, New Glow, through which His Excellency Governor Obaseki has radically transformed the state public education system by empowering over 15,000 teachers in Edo State with digital teaching devices, modern day lesson delivery, residential induction trainings, continuous in-school mentoring, and rewarded them with talent retention and performance-based incentives, as well as a robust monitoring and evaluation system. Now, these teachers, in turn, are delivering lessons to over 300,000 young minds in public primary and junior secondary schools today across Edo State. And they are achieving transformational learning outcomes and building the future workforce, both for the state and also for the country, Nigeria. A few other states, Lagos, Kwara, Bayelsa, have now taken cue from what is happening in Edo State and are now implementing similar reforms focused on empowering teachers and the education workforce as a critical success factor in transforming their state public education systems. To achieve true nation building, therefore, we must now turn the page away from these standalone success stories, and we must write an entire national narrative of education workforce as the central theme to nation building. Transforming the education workforce requires a holistic and collaborative approach. It is a complex and it's a multifaceted process that involves various stakeholders, involves strategic planning, but above all, it involves sustained efforts. And that's why we must commend Seplat Energy for doing this for the past 4 years, and as we've heard from the CEO, they will continue it. So the Seplat example and the other examples I've mentioned in Edo, Lagos, Kwara, and Bayelsa are replicable and scalable models of private sector and public sector interventions in the education system. To achieve them at national scale would require comprehensive needs assessment to identify the strengths, weaknesses, and gaps in the current education workforce. This involves analyzing teacher skills, professional development opportunities, and alignment of the workforce with the evolving needs of learners and the society. It requires clear and measurable goals, for the transformation must be defined based on the vision that aligns with the broader educational objectives of the nation, taking into account the changing landscape of education, technological advancements, and global trends. Robust professional development programs for educators must be developed to include continuous training on pedagogical techniques, technological innovation, evolving educational theories, emphasizing the importance of lifelong learning, not just for us, but also for the educators themselves. As part of this transformation, we must normalize providing incentives and recognition to educators. We must demonstrate the excellence and promote, that excellence in their teaching, in their innovation, and also create an improvement path even for upcoming educators. We have found out that recognition can boost morale and motivation, contributing to a more engaged and committed education workforce. Making the teaching profession attractive again and developing a pipeline for the right talent to flow into that sector and keeping them engaged for long-term benefits are equally as important. You will agree with me that the Seplat Teacher Empowerment Initiative embodies most, if not all, of these components, thereby making it a proven private sector model for intervention that can be adopted to support the efforts of the public sector toward workforce transformation. I congratulate the graduating teachers and participants. I also congratulate the Seplat leadership and its partners for sustaining this initiative over the years, and I look forward to insightful panel discussions as we go on in the Education Summit. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Please, let's rise and give him a resounding round of applause. He came all the way to give us this lovely, lovely keynote address. Thank you so very much, Dr. Soji Akinyele. Thank you very much. While we're seated, I'd like Mr. Enaholo Ojeifo to stand up and be recognized. He's the Honorable Commissioner for Mining and Energy, Edo State. Where is he? Thank you for joining us today. We also like to recognize the presence of Mr. Kingsley Uwagbali, Honorable Commissioner for Public Safety and Security, Edo State. We know that with you, we are very safe, sir. Thank you. Okay. Just before I call on Dr. Maurice Atoki for the next session, I'd like us to look on the screens because we're about to see something very short on the climate.
Everyone's talking about climate change. But what is our climate? And why is it changing? Our climate is the Earth's normal weather over a very long time. It usually takes hundreds or thousands of years for the climate to change. But recently, our climate has been changing much faster. All these changes make life harder for our plants, animals, and for people around the world. And the biggest cause of climate change is humans, including you and me. When we use fuel like oil and gasoline, or remove forests to make room for cities or farms, we release greenhouse gases into our atmosphere. These greenhouse gases cause our climate to get warmer. Normally, when the heat from the sun warms our planet, some of the heat reflects back into space. But greenhouse gases act like a big blanket, holding some of it in. This extra heat can cause all sorts of problems for our planet, and the plants, animals, and people who live here. Our ice and snow are melting faster. Our oceans are getting warmer and higher, and our weather is becoming more extreme, with more heat waves, heavy rainfalls, and powerful hurricanes. Luckily, many countries around the world are working together to fight climate change. And there are lots of easy ways you and I can help too, like reusing things instead of throwing them out. Instead of driving, ride your bike or take the bus. Use less electricity, and eat food grown closer to home. You and I, we can make a difference. We can fight climate change.
All right, that's just to let us know that together we can make a difference. With that, I'd like to welcome here to climb the stage. Her seat is over there, Dr. Maurice Atoki. She's the moderator for the panel that we are going to be having today. Give her a befitting round of applause, please.
Thank you very much, Charles. Good morning, everybody. I would like to start by standing on existing protocols. In no particular order, is to also appreciate the set of panelists that have come all the way from Abuja and from Lagos to be here with us for yet another STEP program by Seplat Energy. You're most welcome. First and foremost, I'd like to set the tone for the panel, and is to agree foremost with all of the very remarkable comments that every speaker this morning has actually spoken about and around. Is to agree and to intensify the need for a bit more attention to the teachers and to the workforce across the education sector. As we know and as we agree, education equips us with tools needed to navigate an increasingly complex world. by imparting literacy, by imparting numeracy, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills, thereby empowering us to innovate, to prepare for the engagement that lies ahead for us within the society and with our pupils, in economic activities, and extensively contributes to national progress. The education workforce is an educational system's biggest investment and one of its greatest levers to achieve change. Transforming such workforce, therefore, requires a well-thought and rounded, structured approach to providing learning opportunities that builds new skills, enhance knowledge, and deepen technology competence in this digital age. To enable teachers adapt to the changing economic as well as the technological conditions. The panel session you're about to engage with this morning will be providing an opportunity for us to hear about various spectrums of the education sector with vast experience in and out of country and across different tiers of government, as they share perspectives and insights around the criticality of the education workforce as an imperative to foster the collective well-being and prosperity of our nation, Nigeria. Please join me in welcoming, in no particular order, Professor Bongo Adi, an economist from the Lagos Business School. Prof, you're welcome. I'd also like to call Professor Cornelius, who is joining us as a professor of clinical psychology. Prof, you're welcome. Madam Ruth, you're very welcome. Please join us. Madam Rhoda, pardon me. Please join us on the podium as well. And last but not the least, I'd like to invite Mr. Akogun from Junior Achievement Nigeria. You're all very welcome. Please take your seats. Right, thank you so much for being here. And maybe a good place to start is the conversations that went on yesterday as we pre-planned for this panel. To think about, first and foremost, and Professor Cornelius, I'd like to start with you. The situation at hand at a country level, bearing that in mind, and the very impactful work that Seplat Energy is doing. I'd like you to give your remarks around how you see this synergizing and what level of impact do you think at the national level we're experiencing now, and how can that be scaled? Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I must start by saying how impressed I am seeing what is happening in Edo State. What has brought us here together, the work of Seplat in enhancing these teachers. For us to move forward, we need to scale up what Seplat is doing with these teachers. This morning I was very glad seeing new brand teachers. I've been a teacher at the secondary school for years, polytechnic for 15 years, now in the university. So I have seen different sectors, but seeing the new faces, how I wish we could Nigerialize all these faces we're seeing, putting them across all the states. I see healthy teachers, but particularly Over the years, our curriculum has been centering on reading and writing. Getting 100%, the way we say is the way we, but not in the way we do it. Things I have seen Seplat has taught them do, if they go back, multiply it, in not only in this state and the other states, where the teacher can elicit the stamina, the potentials that are lying both latent in our pupils, in our students, getting them do something with their hands. Can you imagine this issue of if a teacher wants to do very well, there must be increase in salary. This so-called increase in salary every day, looking at the economic terms and what we are passing through, even if you give move their salaries to 500,000 a month, it can't meet up. But if they can do things at their leisure, at their time after the school, become creative, become producers, become labor hirers, creative, and now translate it, teach the students, and it will be very, very fine. I remember when I was there in the primary school in those days, the handcrafts, all those things they were teaching us, which we have left. I think the Seplat is technically taking them back, that the teacher can do something with his hand and then teach, expose such things to the pupils or the students. I am thinking of the creativity, the innovation involved in all these productions we are seeing we have seen this morning. And when a student or a pupil is taught these things, it takes time. It takes his time, it occupies him. And this issue of cultism we are seeing everywhere is because quite a good number of them are idle. But if they get them engaged in all these things, they become creative, they become innovative, they think. I think our curriculum should be a little bit rescheduled, relocated, and put a shift on thinking. Last time I was telling my students, now that you're about graduating, can you think about what you can do after now, apart from putting on the ties, credentials, and moving from one office to the other? That creativity, that what can I do? Can I be an employer? Yes. A lot of things are getting damaged. A lot of potentials and talents are being wasted in our students. But if the teachers can go back and just a little touch, a little wake up, and they will blossom. And so many things will begin to happen in our secondary schools and primary schools. But technically, if what you have seen today, or what Seplat is doing, going back to the syllabus and bringing in not everything based on reading and writing, what can we do? And industries can buy these ideas, multiply them, and a lot of things will be happening in Nigeria. And I know that this student drain, this brain drain that is causing us loss of millions and dollars, loss of millions in terms of dollars and pounds, will be able to stop. And our atmosphere, insecurity, will be fought, because a busy hand, a busy brain may not be involved in insecurity and issues of kidnapping and all that you are seeing every day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Totally agree with you. Seplat's innovative intervention around empowering teachers, for me, it just really gets me in the sensitive space, in the fact that, I don't know a lot of organizations that do the same. I know organizations focus more on the pupils, but isn't it just right to invest more in the teachers and enable them and empower them to be able to deliver this level of education we aspire for the pupils? So thank you for those insights, critical to our nation building. I'd like to pass on the mic to Professor Bongo Adi. And truly, you took us through what seemed like an MBA in the pre-panel session yesterday. I like those your thoughts around positive psychology, especially at a time like this. Coupled with what Professor Cornelius had alluded to, creative thinking is essential. I'd like you to put a bit more light on what you believe will work for us as a nation at this moment and at these times that we're in. As an economist, of course, a professor of economics. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Maurice Atuki. I said your name sounded so Japanese, even though you don't speak any Nihongo. Anyway, thank you very much. And really, this is a wonderful opportunity, seeing what Seplat is doing. I think this is just an enactment of what we talk about in Triple Helix, which is the collaboration between the academia, the industry, and the government. So you can see that playing out here. So Seplat is taking the lead in Nigeria, because I can't think of so many organizations that are doing this for so many years. And in so many countries, actually, this is what is driving innovation, leading to commercialization of innovation, the things that happen in the classrooms. So when you go to the United States, in Silicon Valley, so Silicon Valley is not just arbitrarily located in California. So Caltech has been the center of tech innovation for so many years. So if you look at the ranking of universities, especially when it comes to software, IT, and all of that, Caltech is always number one. And that is why all those companies go there to leverage the knowledge that is going on in the university. So that is what I like about what Seplat is doing, forging the collaboration among these three pillars of the society. So back to what you're saying about positive psychology. I'm not a psychologist, I'm an economist. Prof that is a psychologist here. Yeah. So, but again, so there is this interface between psychology and economics that has happened in the past, in the past decade, as I was sharing yesterday. So you notice that the Nobel Prize in economics has been won by more psychologists than economists in the past 10 years. So, where do I start? The man who wrote The Nudge. I don't know if anybody has read the book Nudge, So Richard Thaler has won the Nobel Prize in economics, even though he's a psychologist. 2019, I was at London Business School for an international teachers program, which is similar to what is happening here that Seplat is promoting. So you have the professors from the top business schools globally, Harvard, the ESAs, all of them. So they send in their teachers, and then send also the trainers, some accomplished professors. So they come to so there is an opportunity to reevaluate what you do in the classroom, to learn new skills, gain exposure to new techniques, new theories, as the keynote speaker referred to, because you see that the world of learning has become very volatile. It's changing, disruptions happening every day. So I don't want to go in there, the AIs and all of that. So, but one thing I came out from that program in 2019 was each professor that came into the classroom would ask us to stand up, and everybody would stand, and then he would say, they would tell us to start making declarations. How do you want your classroom to be? How do you want to perform as a teacher? Okay, and then so first it was very odd, because that's something you see in the Pentecostal churches, right? So how would you be standing in a program, such a elitist program, and then you are making declarations about, I want to be a great teacher, I want to be an excellent teacher, so where do you see yourself when you get back to the classroom? That was what they were telling us to do. Why were they doing that? Because research has shown, I'm talking about published, peer-reviewed research, empirical studies have shown that when people, focus on the positive elements, when they declare the positive things, they seem to be hooked on that. Okay, so that presents some sort of, I don't know if it's called psychological anchoring. That's what they call anchoring effect. You know, that drive them to really reflect that they have, you know, pronounced. You know, so which is more like the word of faith, you know, the religious people will talk about. So you can see that reality is actually based on faith. You know, so now at the end of that program, they now ask us to do something that we should nominate 20 people within our network, family, friends, acquaintances, colleagues. Okay, and then we did that on a website. That website is called Authentic. I think it's still there. You can Google it. So you put in those information, the names and their emails. So they sent them email unknown to us. So they asked them to write who Bongo is when he is at his best. Okay? So they were not allowed to write anything negative. Who is Bongo when he is at his best? So now they are, you know, got all of that together. So the professor who led that session, Professor Daniel Cable as in Cable TV. You can Google him. He has written a book. He shared that book with us, Alive at Work. And he's the one that leading this. He's the top behavioral economist, even though he's a psychologist globally. So when that report was now sent to us on the last day of the program, so he said we should not read it in the class. When we got back to our hotel rooms, so when you are, you know, in your quiet mood, quiet moments, just bring it up. So when I read what people wrote about me, it was like reading my funeral oration, right? Very nice things. I never knew that I was that good, right? So you could see, now that's somehow framed my thinking. So each time in my actions, I want to reflect what people say that is good about me. And so you notice that people tend to love those who say nice things about them. Then you really will disdain anyone who says anything negative about you. But then the way we are, we seem to be always focused on the negative. Okay? We never give enough time to the positive dimensions. So that brings me back to the role the teachers play in that. Teachers shape civilization. Teachers frame development. Without teaching, without the teaching profession, there is no civilization, there is no development. Of course, things have changed in recent times because you find out that what I call the knowledge production industry has shifted from the classroom to maybe the industrial centers. The reason why this collaboration is very important. So knowledge happens in the R&D departments of firms. Okay? So, but regardless, it is still the educational system that drives that innovation, that drives that. So you see the entrepreneurial abilities of teachers. Okay? So how do you now scale all of this? See? So, how do teachers, again, motivate students, okay, to be their best? For students to be their best, teachers themselves have to be in the right frame of mind. Again, that takes me back to what the keynote speaker said. He mentioned three things that define Nigeria's education. The first challenge is the shortage of teachers. The second one is inadequate training. And then the third one, he said poor morale. So that morale aspect is very important. And this is where what Seplat is doing plays a huge part. Because you need to motivate the teachers to create the right incentives so that they can further, cascade that motivation down to the students and they will be the best. And truly, Nigeria's education, despite the challenges, is not the worst in the world. In fact, it could actually be one of the best. Because you notice something that is ongoing. Right now, it is difficult for you to keep talent in your organization. We are suffering from that at the Lagos Business School, and I know all the banks, all the consulting firms, and having very serious talent attrition. You recruit new ones, okay? So long as they are good, in the next few months, they are gone. So it's like a never-ending cycle. So where does it end? Now, when our people go abroad, they are not required to do any retraining. They are immediately absorbed. That tells you that the quality is not really as bad as we tend to paint all the time. So remember, I am about positivism. So what is good? I think our educational system is strong in so many aspects. So we need to strengthen that, okay? Motivate the teachers more. Now the question is, how do we really mainstream what Seplat is doing? Okay, part of my role while I'm in Edo State, actually, I am currently the Acting Director General of the Directorate of Higher Education. So they picked me up from LBS to come help set up that directorate. And what is it? To really, cascade what is happening Edo Best 1.0. Now it's Edo Best 2.0. So to take it to the higher educational ecosystem. And I'm sure that in the coming days, I'll be speaking to Seplat to see how they can bring what is happening at the sub-tertiary level to the tertiary level. It's a wonderful thing that you are doing. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Professor Adi. Thanks for that insight. I don't know if you heard what I heard, but I've been schooled once again. I love the thought process around positive psychology. I think it's important for us as a nation right now because of all of the negatives and all of the, permit me to say, failures that we're currently experiencing. So I'd like to charge you, all of us that are here, to take a cue from what Prof has said. Let's be more positive. Let's aspire to be successful in whatsoever we lay our hands upon. I see signs, and I'm going to round up very soon. Madam Rhoda, beautiful Rhoda amongst us, the only female amongst a group of men. Particularly, we were really elated by your profile, the fact that you had been a teacher once. You started by being a teacher, and you evolved. You've told me that you worked with New Globe as well, and done many great things. So we're very proud to have you here. If you had the opportunity to go back in time, considering your experience in those days, what you see Seplat doing now, and the future of education in Nigeria, what would you change? What more would you like to see? Over to you, ma'am.
That's a very good question. I was looking, honestly, for a Seplat in my time. I spent 17 years teaching, and I did that in public and private education. Yes, wow. I'm not a baby. I'm old enough. So many things were, when I started teaching, it was, I had needs, I had struggles, and I had aspirations. Those were the three main things. And when I started as a teacher, my needs were largely not always met. By that, I meant that the education that I had received that prepared me for classroom teaching did not quite equip me for the realities of my classroom. And some of the, I can hear you say yes, my people. And some of those realities include things like the data that says that 1 in 10 children will have one form of learning challenge or disability. I experienced that. All of you are here. You know this, that we will always find a child or 2 or 3 or 10 who require additional support because they have some kind of reading challenge, some kind of math challenge, or even some kind of family-oriented challenge. We were not equipped with those kinds of things. We didn't understand the concept of socio-emotional learning, or that the fact that, okay, there's this pedagogy, there's this science behind the learning, like New Globe does, and a couple of other abbreviations like mine does. That there's a science behind teaching English, there's a science behind teaching math, there's a science behind having differentiated instruction that is adjusting for these different groups of children we have. We didn't get that. Even in fact, that was one of the first things I used to say is, how did I graduate from the Faculty of Education? And I did not take not half, not quarter. I didn't take any course on inclusion. So that's part of the advocacy. Those are some of my needs. I also had, and as many teachers here, we had the need of understanding what it means to have parent-teacher partnership. Very critical part of it. A lot of times we meet parents, and teachers here will agree with me, they don't really care about the children's work. Am I lying? And it makes sense. It's not because they don't want to care. It's because, well, issues of life. And then here we are at the parent-teacher conference, and we're having to have this kind of conversation that if you're not careful, it becomes a banter. You know, and so those kinds of things, those were neat areas of pedagogy, of the science of learning, of parent partnerships, of, you know, what it means to teach a child with special needs or additional needs. There was that. And then there were struggles, and because those things ended up becoming struggles. Because then I had to figure out, oh, I have this administrative duty, I have to do curriculum, instruction, assessment, and all of that. And there was no technology for that. So some of my struggles were like, oh, okay, we have technology, and then maybe let's try this one. And we kept trying and testing and trying and testing. You know, it was all of that. And then, of course, I had aspirations. Because as a teacher, let basically be real. We're one of the least paid in the world. Right? It is true. And it is still a fact. And most significant percentage of Nigeria is rural. There is more rural than urban Nigeria. And, you know, Soji here will tell you that what New Globe is facing, and, you know, with trying to do all of this and bringing all of these solutions together. So those were my needs, my struggles, my aspirations. I wanted to earn a living that was decent enough for me. To wake up at 4 a.m. and to get back home at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. like most of you do, like everybody engineer in Seplat or in all the other places are doing, and earn 90% lower or even sometimes 95% lower than they do, my people. Was also the aspiration. But here, so those were the things, those were my needs. So if a Seplat was available, oh my goodness, I'll be the first person right there in front of that place. I'll be looking for it. But you know, I learned the hard way. But I learned to know that in my classroom, I was the solutions finder. In my classroom, in the eyes of those children, I had ideas and innovation and so I wasn't alone. Because children were there, the students were there, and they were working with me. So I started to grow a little bit, started to look more at options for me to learn. Technology was a driver, an enabler. At the time, we had blogs, we had all of those things, so I would read. Oh my goodness, you can't succeed as a teacher if you're not an avid reader. I would read and research and read and research, and that's how I started growing. I started building my skills. I learned what it meant to support families, support children, use technology, you know, and I started building my aspirations, and I grew. And that's what Seplat is doing, to be honest. And, you know, I like to say it this way, that when we are all done in this development world with what we think is the real solution to education, we will come back and rest on teachers, just exactly as Seplat is doing. The beginning and the end of the solution in education lies with this person, this group of people called teachers. Put a well-qualified, well-trained, well-remunerated teacher under a tree. All of their students will read, will compute, will be digitally literate, will compete, will speak eloquently, and will do all of these things. So that's it. Yeah.
Brilliant. I'm once again amazed. You add sentiments to my whole, you know, disposition to all of this. To just hear that experience that you've had and how you've evolved fantastically with Seplat teachers. Don't you just love the way she talks? I love it. Thank you so much, Madam Rhoda, for bringing those insights. And last but not the least is to bring us back, especially as private sector, to talk a bit more about collaboration. I'll ask Mr. Olaolu from Junior Achievement Nigeria to give us a bit more conversation around what better do you think collaboration across public and private sector, across private sectors, would add to all of these discussions we've had. Again, the topic is transforming the education workforce, a critical success factor in nation building. Over to you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. I must first commend Seplat for this wonderful initiative. As someone that works in the non-profit where we inspire and prepare young people to succeed in the global economy. It's always impressive and exciting when we see other organizations complementing what we're doing. So thank you very much, Seplat, for this initiative. And just to tie everything that has been said together, the challenges have been highlighted, the opportunities have been highlighted. Let me start by saying that there are actually several interventions ongoing across the country, even across the continent, in the education space. For example, I work in a non-profit, Junior Achievement Nigeria. We work across the country with schools where we train teachers who in turn train their students. Seplat is having this Seplat Education Teachers Empowerment Program. New Globe is working, ULESSN, a social enterprise providing technology to enhance the education system and all the likes. But the main, from our own experience and observation, I think the important conversation we should be having is scaling these initiatives and sustaining them. Because like I mentioned, if you go to all the states, you will see interventions upon interventions, but they've not scaled beyond what they are, and they've also not been sustainable. So the important conversation we should be having is scaling this scalability of these interventions and the sustainability of these interventions. And to achieve these, I've thought about two things that we can do. The first being consortium building. We have the government that provides the policy framework, provides the infrastructure, the schools and the likes. We have the non-profits that have these initiatives, that have programs. We have the private sector that have finance. The private sector also have industry needs for the education system. We have the development agencies that have skills in terms of research and all of that. If we bring all of these institutions together as one, to look at the education system holistically, because what we've been doing over time is working in silos in our different spaces. We are working, for example, last year we were able to reach over 160,000 young people. This year we have a target of reaching 200,000 young people. But that's just like a drop in the ocean of the issue. So if we come together as a consortium, the private sector bringing their supply, the government bringing their supply, the industries bringing their supply, then we'll be addressing the gaps in the educational system, the infrastructural gap, the capacity building gaps, and the technology gaps and the likes. And the other aspect is also coming up with a scalable business model. Because like I mentioned, all these interventions that exist, some of them are not scalable. Why? It's because of the business model. So if we start looking at adopting scalable business models, and when we are talking about a scalable business model, the first thing you have to consider is what you are trying to do. Is it demand driven? So that means whatever interventions we are bringing together as a consortium must actually be based on the needs of the society. So that means we must conduct a needs assessment, just like the keynote speaker mentioned earlier. Then in terms of scalability as well, we also have to have a simple intervention, not something that is really complicated, because some of the things we try to do sometimes are so complicated that it can't easily be adopted and move forward. Then another thing we also have to look at is the cost of that intervention. It must be low cost for it to be able to spread across the country. It must also be leveraging technology, because we can't rule out the use of technology in these days. For example, ULESSN is doing their thing, but how far can they go as an organization? But if we come together as a consortium, then we can scale whatever they are doing to all the schools. Then in terms of scalability as well, another thing that has to be involved is community engagement. Sometimes we just think off the top of our head and just come up with these interventions without necessarily considering the communities involved. So if the communities are well engaged in whatever we're trying to do, then it becomes easy to accept it and also to transfer it to different communities. The last thing, I can't remember the last thing, but just to tie it in, if we're able to build a consortium, there will be funding, there will be capacity, there will be technology, and there will be acceptance. So these are the things we should be looking at. So if we tie everything together, what Seplat is doing can be scaled beyond Edo and Delta states, because other stakeholders will be involved. For example, if Junior Achievement Nigeria comes into the picture, for example, we have presence in other states. We can scale it to other states. If we have Rhoda with what she's doing, if we have ULESIN, we can include technology and all of that. So that is how, what I would suggest that we consider in this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Please, a round of applause for our distinguished panelists. And last but not the least is to give them an opportunity to give a 1-minute closing remark. So we've said quite a number of things, from positive psychology to creativity and innovation. We've heard about inclusion and, of course, scalability and collaboration. I would like to start with Mr. Cornelius. You started, so please give us your closing remarks in 1 minute. And I must appeal to you, it must be 1 minute. Thank you very much.
You will see tearing of the leather. You will see tearing of the leather. The teacher is just like the leader. There are 3 components that make effective learning and teaching. Number 1 is the teacher factor. Number 2 is the environmental factor. And 3, the learner's factor. Very serious about them is the teacher factor. The teacher's confidence has to be restored in Nigeria. If you go to the market and open your mouth and tell them that you're a teacher, you are finished. The society has to look at the reality psychology by restoring back the old confidence, the courage of the teacher. And this is a part of what we are seeing today. Let it be scaled up. At the end of this training, you see that the positiveness of these teachers, their confidence, their self-courage, their self-esteem will increase. But it should be distributed, scaled up to everywhere. But how be it? We need to go back to our schools and produce individuals, pupils, and students who are not only creative, but they can question nature, question everything around them. And that is the way forward. By the time they are questioning, they told us that the higher we go in geography, the cooler it becomes. When you fly up there, it is not the same answer. They told us that Mungo Park discovered the River Niger. It is not true. The River Niger has been there. Our forefathers have been there fishing and taking water. Now, we need to go back and produce students who can ask questions. Ask their teachers questions. Why are you teaching us this way? Why not this way? And when they do that, allow them. Curiosity will produce the creativity we are looking for.
Okay, there's nothing more to add. I think Prof has actually summarized it, but I think the element of entrepreneurship should come into it. So that is something that has been missing in our curriculum and in the way we approach our teaching profession. So I like what has happened here. I like the example that Seplat is setting, teaching teachers that they can, besides being a teacher in the classroom, they can actually put their head and their hands to work. And I think that is something that needs to be scaled. Thank you.
What's the name of the lady that won the Rio? Hello, where are you? Oh no, don't worry, you don't have to come. I can imagine that you had a lot of questions while you were doing all of these things. So if I was to unpack all the things that was happening in your brain, it would be so many questions. Why is this not working? What color can I make this with? This, millions and millions of questions. Okay, so just hold that. That's what I wanted to bring out. One thing I didn't say earlier was agency was also one of the things I was looking for. Teacher voice. And our agency is very, very very, very important. A lot of times people tell us what to do, and we don't get to say what we want to do and how it works for us and in the way that it's going to work for in our classrooms. That's exactly what we've been struggling with. But what we're seeing today is that you've been given, Seplat has literally democratized agency for you. And that means that you are an agent of transformation. So the call to action is that there is Elo and there is every one of you, you can call your names. We need you to replicate yourselves. Go back to your communities and do exactly what you've done here for everybody in your community. That is when you are truly telling Seplat that you have gone through a transformative program.
All right, thank you. I remember when I was speaking earlier, I talked about scalability and sustainability, but I don't want us to look at it from, the broad perspective of approaching it from the national standpoint. We can actually start from the state levels. We can start from the local government levels, because it's very easy for us to look at it as something that is really so big and it's not achievable. So let's start from where we are, from the local government level. Let's bring a consortium, actors that can actually, bring change in that community, and let's start working towards it like that. And also to, bring from my experience, like I mentioned, I work with a non-profit and we work with, teachers. We've seen the power of exposure, the power of capacity building, how these things have helped to improve the morale of teachers, how it has also helped to also improve the morale of students. So I don't want us to relent. It might still seem like we're still, achieving like a drop in the ocean, but let these minute changes that are taking place, let them serve as motivations for us to keep doing what we are doing while we try to, find a way to scale and sustain what we are doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another distinguished round of applause for this subject matter experts for bringing insights, for addressing some of our concerns, and for really inspiring us to look ahead with a positive view to the future. And again, for doing justice to the topic, transforming the education workforce, a critical success factor at nation building. It's been a pleasure for me to moderate you. Again, my name is Maurice Atoke. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the African Business Coalition. Thank you, Seplat Energy.
All right, thank you very much. Please, that round of applause wasn't sufficient. It was not sufficient. Okay, while they're there, I would like to invite the COO to go up to them. I will give him this microphone. He might have a comment or two to add. I would like to invite the senior manager CSS to come stand by for a presentation. I'd like to invite, of course, my director. I'd like to invite Mr. Uzoma Iwulu to go up there and join them. Please, Mr. Uzoma Iwulu, to go up and join them. Ezulu, Mr. Uzoma Ezulu, NMPC, our JV partner, to go up and join for the photograph. I would like to, while they are going up, I'd like to specially recognize Mr. Uzoma Ezulu, NMPC. He is also here with Mr. Tomike Meye Owunari, my very good friend. Stand up to be recognized. Thank you very much. Our interface, Hajarad Lawal. Thank you very much. And of course, I'd like to also welcome specially the Honorable Obeide Ifalui Isibo, the Honorable Commissioner for Digital Economy, Science and Technology, Edo State. You're welcome. All right, please, I would like to present a few things. Let my director step forward to present to the panelists.
So on behalf, and pardon me, Sam, to say this, on behalf of the management of Seplat and our senior partner, NNPC Exploration and Production, we want to say a huge thank you to our panelists. You took out time from your busy schedules, traveled in from Lagos and God knows where else to be here. So we'd like to say a huge thank you, and please just accept this token on our behalf. So Professor Cornelius. For our teacher, Rhoda. And I'll ask Uzoma to help me to do the other two. Professor Bongo Adi. And also Olaolu. And Sam, if you could say thank you to our keynote speaker, Dr. Soji, if you don't mind, please. We appreciate our moderator. So go ahead.
Thank you very much. I would not have my COO stand up here without giving him the microphone to say something.
All right. Thank you very much, distinguished panelists. And I would really like to do this holding hands with my senior brother. All the while when you were listening to the panelists, they kept saying Seplat, Seplat, Seplat. Seplat couldn't have done anything without our senior partners. We have enjoyed an outstanding support, undiluted support from our senior partners. Don't mind the beard, by the way. He may be younger than myself, but nature has made him also look as if he's my senior, so I don't know about that too, Zoma. I would honestly would like to give you a microphone just to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you and good morning everyone. On behalf of the management of NPL, I want to really appreciate Seplat. They have been what we call the operator of choice in this joint venture. We see the commitment to development both at work and at play in society. And really, I'm proud to say that I'm part of this team. If only other operators will do the same thing Seplat do, I'm sure a lot of the problems we're having currently in the country will have been fixed. So NEPL is very happy and very proud to be part of this movement that contributes to the society where we are getting this oil from, that invests in the youth for the future of this country. Because without education, definitely, this country has no future. But when we have people like teachers and students I see here, with so much commitment, so much passion, willing to take out time to come and listen and learn, I have hope that yes, things are going to turn around. Because you really are the hope we have for this country. I am a child of two teachers. My father and my mother were teachers, and so I know it's not easy for teachers generally. Those days they used to say that the teachers for what is in heaven. Even though nowadays people don't even know whether they're going to make it to heaven or not. So I want to encourage you, no matter how bad it is, just keep doing what you're doing. Believe, because you are touching lives. And these lives you touch, in one way or the other, will come back to appreciate you. Thank you very much once again.
So now, on behalf of my brother, I would like to invite the UN Women and the Microsoft rep for goodwill messages. And let me then use this opportunity one more time to actually underscore why NNPC Seplat JP is doing this. This is purely entrenched in our strategy of doing business and our sustainability journey. And our sustainability journey is anchored on 3 key pillars. The number one, please, can you join me, please? Yes? The number one is about our environmental stewardship. What do we do our environment in the course of our operations? And that is one area where we hold very strongly and very highly, because we need to ensure that we are a responsible operator on behalf of the NNPC. The second one, which is actually an offshoot, what we are doing today is an offshoot of, is around social investment. For us as Seplat Energy, our sustainability journey is also anchored on the second pillar, which is social investment. It's about how do we give back to the society, how do we empower the society, how do we ensure that our society is a place where everybody will be proud to live in and be part of. And the last but not the least is about our economic viability for everyone who is associated with us. Our communities where we operate, we call them our people or our neighbors. We don't call them host communities for obvious reasons that if you studied biology, there's something around host and parasites. So we carefully deviate from calling them host communities. We call them our people or our neighbors. And for everyone who is part of our value chain, there has to be some form of return from this investment to you. And for us, we invest heavily in empowering community vendors, making sure that they are also part of building the cake, baking the cake. And when the cake is bigger, even if you take a portion of it, you may not know. But if the cake is cupcake and you take lion's share of a cupcake, you can almost know what it will translate to. So without taking much more time, is the Microsoft rep here with us? This is UN. Please, this is our opportunity to say, just give some goodwill. And what I've just done is a bit of goodwill on behalf of my brother and myself. I don't know if you want to have another goodwill. That's it. So then, if we don't have the Microsoft rep, then what do you do?
Thank you very much. I must say it's a privilege to be here. Before I say anything, sir, I would like all the teachers in the house to stand if you permit me. Please, could you stand? Please, I would like you to give a round of applause. When I mean a round, a really good one, to Seplat and to their bigger partner, NNPC L. Clap until you are satisfied that you're actually clapping. Thank you. Thank you very much. You may be seated. I'm amazed with what I've seen here today. I'm going to be reading the speech of my boss, Ms. Beatrice Young, our leader. Yes, sir. But I think that before I do read the speech, I'd like to say a few things based on the impressions that you have all made here today. I'm going to say something funny. If you find a way to keep it out of the camera, fine. At a time, I was so pressed to use the restroom, but because of what was happening, I didn't want to leave my seat. It was as good as that. It was as good as that. You can clap, you can clap. When we see something good, we need to appreciate it. I must say that I've been blown away, and I've been trying to get a word to describe what I've seen here today. And the only word I could find is wow. Can we all say wow? Can we say wow? I'll give you a few reasons why I said that. I have been in development for about almost 30 years now. Like my sister, I'm not very young. And we've seen what people call corporate social responsibility. And most of them are tokenism. You know, things that do not last. Things that do not have impact. Things that do not have relevance. Or people just want to do these things, tick the box, and they go away and say, oh, we've done some stuff. But with what we've seen here today, I see not just these teachers being impacted, but I see many, many generations after them being impacted by what Seplat and her partner has done here today. And I must commend the organization. It's been fantastic. I want to thank all the speakers, all the panelists. I've learned so much. I would go ahead to read the speech of my boss. Madam Beatrice would have loved to be here. Just a day before this event, she fell ill, and she really wanted to be here. And she said, no, Patience, we can't be absent from this event. You have to go and represent us. And I'm so glad that we have a representation from UN Women. And as I sit here, or stand here, I see a lot of women also. UN Women exist for women and women alone, even though we work with the men. Can all the women in the house stand? I want us to give special recognition to the women in the house. I'm sorry, I'm partial, please forgive me. Except my mathematics is wrong. Over 60% of people in the hall are women. Please, women, appreciate yourselves. So I'll go ahead to read the brief speech that I have from my rep, the Honorable Minister of Education, Professor Tahil. I don't know if he has a representative, Tahir Maman. The Honorable Commissioner for Education, Edo and Delta States, the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Roger Brown and his senior management team, esteemed speakers, panelists, organizers, distinguished guests, our own teachers who are doing great things, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure and honor that I extend my warmest greetings to each and every one of you gathered here today at the Seplat 2024 Education Summit. I'm deeply, deeply grateful for the gracious invitation extended to me to participate as a special guest at this esteemed event. The significance of these summits dedicated to advancing education and empowering educators cannot be overstated. As UN Women, we are the United Nations entity for gender equality and women's empowerment, and we are very, very excited, and we know the power of transformation when it comes to education in particular, especially as it shapes women and girls. It is through education that we can break down barriers, challenge stereotypes, and pave the way for a more inclusive and equitable society. The Seplat Teachers Empowerment Program stands as a shining example of the impact that dedicated initiatives can have on educational landscape. By equipping secondary school teachers with the tools and methodology necessary to foster critical thinking and leadership skill, Seplat Energy is not only investing in the professional development of educators, but also the foundation for a better future for generations to come. This program aligns with what we do, especially what we do in our program called Second Chance Education. The Second Chance Education is a program that UN Women runs, and it allows us to focus and target women and girls who have lost out, maybe their first attempt at going to school, failed, maybe as a result of pregnancy, insurgency, or whatever. And then we target them to make sure that they do not lose out completely from education. So that's what we do with the program. The theme of this year's summit, Transforming the Educational Workforce, a critical success factor for nation building, speaks to the heart of the matter. Educators are the architects of our future. And it is imperative that we need to provide for them support and resources they need to thrive in their roles. By doing this, we can unlock the full potential of our education workforce and empower them to drive positive change within their communities. As we gather here today, let us reaffirm our commitment to the principle of quality education and gender equality. Let us redouble our effort to ensure that every child, regardless of gender or socioeconomic status, has access to the tools and the opportunities they need to succeed. And let us work together, hand in hand, to build a future where education is not just a privilege, but a fundamental human right. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Seplat Energy again for their unwavering support and dedication to the cause of education. Your commitment to excellence serves as aspiration to a lot of us. And I have no doubt that together we can achieve great things together. The Educational Summit has also, if you ask me, achieved its theme today, because from what we have seen teachers We want to reaffirm our commitment to continue to work with you, to partner with you, to work with communities to ensure that they live a life of dignity, they're able to achieve their goal. And more importantly, we hope that with what you're doing, we'll be able to reduce the syndrome of jackbarring. Those who know. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please give it up for Mrs. Beatrice Ayong. She's the UN country rep to Nigeria and ECOWAS, represented today by Mrs. Patience Ikeoba, who is the National Program Officer, Coordination and Partnerships. Thank you very much. With that, I'd like to also hand over the microphone. I'd like to hand over the microphone to the Commissioner of Basic and Secondary Education in Delta State, represented today by Mrs. Justina Ishaka, Deputy Director, Schools Department, Delta State Ministry of Secondary Education. A round of applause for her, please. She's representing Mrs. Rose Ezewu.
Thank you, sir. No, I'm okay here. Good afternoon, all. I bring the greetings of the Honorable Commissioner for Secondary Education, Mrs. Rose Ezewu, and the entire Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. She said I should let Seplat know that herself and the entire ministry, they are happy with the programs of Seplat, and they will support the programs at all times. She's not here physically, but she sent a written address. But permit me, before I read the speech, to acknowledge the presence of the Speaker of Delta State House of Assembly, represented here today by the Chairman, House Committee on Education, Honorable Charles Semitulu. He is the father of the education subsector in the House in Delta State. Sir, we are happy to have you here today. Your presence here has given us, the teachers and the education officers from Delta State, a boost. And we want to say thank you. And I want you to know that we have over 100 teachers and education officers, both from the CI's office and the ministry headquarters here. They are all beneficiaries of the STEP program. And from what we can see today, we have seen that Delta State has actually done very well. And we are happy for that. Thank you, sir. So now, I read the written speech of the Honorable Commissioner. The Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly, represented by the Chairman, House Committee on Education, Honorable Charles Emetulu, Honorable Commissioners here present, Directors and Managers of Seplat, keynote address, the panelists, teacher, and every other protocol upheld. It is my pleasure to be here today in this auspicious occasion of this Seplat 2024 edition of Education Roundtable and Seplat Teacher Empowerment Program, SEPT, an award ceremony. I'd like to specifically commend the effort of Seplat for the determination to uphold its corporate social responsibility to her host states, which has enhanced and helped to sustain quality education in Delta and Edo states over time. I'm made to understand that last year over 147 teachers and other participants were direct beneficiaries of this noble program. This year, 150 teachers and other participants are also trained and equipped with skills and tools in the field of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. The impact of the training is evident in the increasing rates of students' participation in science and technology competitions at local and international levels, as well as their outstanding performance in STEM-related subjects in different examinations. The theme of this year's Education Roundtable, Transforming the Education Workforce, a critical success factor for national building, is apt. And we can all agree that from all the presentations, the projects that the teachers have put up today, you will find out that the education workforce is already on the process of transformation. Today, teachers here present are especially selected and have been trained on science, technology, arts, mathematics to improve the teaching and learning process. I wish to further enjoin you, teachers, to share the teaching skills you have learned with your colleagues at work to further spread the teaching methodologies for enhanced output. I am hopeful that the outcome of this exercise will be beneficial to teachers and countless learners in secondary school. This is why I challenge every participant to seize this rare opportunity and take seriously every aspect of this program. Once more, I wish to appreciate Seplat for this giant strive. Thank you, And God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, that was for the Honorable Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Delta State. Please, a round of applause for Mrs. Rose Ezewu, represented here today. Okay, so we've come to a point where we're going to recognize the 10 outstanding teachers. But before then, there was something very important that we had our UN woman rep tell us, and that's recognizing the ladies here. And on that note, I'd like to recognize again what Seplat Energy does by introducing once again our D&I manager in the house today. Is she here? Uche Anajemba. A round of applause for her. That is also to show that Seplat Energy is moving in the right directions. All right, I would like to call the 10 outstanding teachers, and so that we can symbolically give them the certificates and also the special gifts. But to handle this process, I'd like to hand over the microphone to my director. Who clapped?
Just to say this is a setup because I now have to pronounce some names. God will help me. In no particular order, please, I would ask these teachers to come forward. Olufumilayo Ruth Abioye, Ogenekewe Benson, Clement Omoziku, Joyce Onobibi Giona, Esther Edeki, Elo Ogene Uwejigo, Ruth Ethikameno, Usitoibo Akpobeno Festus, Akpotare Akpovire, Francis Edeki. There are 10 of you. Are we all on? Oh, it's amazing. I mean, UN women. Yes. We what? Are they okay? Francis Edeki, Akpotare Akpovire, Usitoibo, Ruth, Elo, Esther Edeki, Joyce, Clement, Ogenekewe, and Fumi, Olufumi. Excellent. So we just have one person not here. Okay. So I would ask our senior partner, represented by Uzoma. Where's Uzoma Ezulu?
Uzoma Ezulu, please.
Uzoma, are you around? Please, can you please come up? We're going to present the certificates. I would ask Sam, our COO, as well. And I need to give this gentleman, the honorable, a job. I know, but please, it's important that you come forward. Our chairman, House Committee Education from Delta State, represented the honorable speaker. And as I call the names, in no particular order, and then the Delta State and Edo State, the representatives, I know. Ladies, please, if you don't mind, can you come forward? Thank you. And Akpotare Akpovire. Who is that? Yes. Usito Ibo. Usito Ibo. No, madam. I think we need to go that way. Yes. Ruth? Ruth is not around. Ruth Ehikameno. We have Elo next. Yes, you can go and sit down, sir. Thank you. We have Esther Ideki next. Esther around? No? Okay. Joyce? Clement Omoziku? Ogenekewe? Fumi, after Ogenekewe? Yes. Fumi, Abioye. And I would please ask the Honorable Commissioner for Digital Economy to join Sam in presenting the most outstanding teacher, Francis Edeki. Can the Honorable Commissioner please, thank you, join us here. Francis was the most outstanding, so I think he deserves a bit more of a round of applause.
Please do a fruit salad for him. A fruit salad for Francis Edeki. Faster! Papaya, banana, banana, fruits. Thank you very much. For being the most outstanding teacher, he's been presented by the JV with, apart from the Android phone that he was all other outstanding teachers got, he has been given a laptop, a brand new laptop.
So just to reiterate, and that's why I wanted the Honorable Commissioner to do this, we actually do advocate for digitization of education. And the only way to enable that is to actually empower our teachers with Android phones and digital tools that can help them propagate learning. So it was very important. So every teacher gets an Android phone, and our outstanding teacher, most outstanding teacher, gets a laptop. Thank you so much for the work.
Was that clap for me, or for the Seplat JV, or for my COO, or for my director? A standing round of ovation, please. A standing round of ovation.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are breaking down the myth. Reward for teachers start from here on earth. They don't have to wait to get to heaven or the other place. So reward for teachers starting from here. Thank you.
All right, I had a teacher lined up to give the vote of thanks. Where is the most outstanding teacher? The most outstanding teacher, please step forward. Where are you? Come and give us a vote of thanks for today so that we can end the program. Move briskly. Move briskly. There's also another outstanding lady Beauty Asenowa, please come and stand near him to give him the courage to give us a vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so much grateful to Seplat for what they have done, especially this program. In my mind, I was thinking since 2021 when I first applied, I was unable to scale through. But in 2023, my principal just told me, Francis, there's something for you. I want you to attend. Just apply. It was even extension date. In my mind, I don't want to. All of this, I said, let me just apply. Later I applied, I noticed I was invited. In my mind, I've been thinking about this for a very long time, that STEAM training. How can I get this training? Because it is internationally recognized. And it's not something you can just come across. You can't even find an organization that will even train you. So I was so much impressed that Seplat has invited me here, and to my open surprise, I was able to have this award. I also believe that everyone seated here, as fellow teachers, are also delighted that they are part of this program. You can't get this certificate so easily. You can't, because it is the latest.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just before Beauty says something, I'd like to announce that immediately after she says something, I'm going to be inviting the D&I manager here because she has something special for the outstanding female teachers.
Thank you so much and good afternoon. What can I say? From what is said, if we are to pay for this, 99.9% of the teachers here will not be able to afford it. With the meager salaries we are paid, by the time we take off house bills, children's academics, health expenses and all that, we barely have little or nothing left to carry us for the month. But Seplat and their senior partners have come up with this. Looking at our environment, how many organizations would think it necessary to give back to the society? Seplat, you are too much. You've given us an opportunity that is rare, and we cannot thank you enough. And I believe, just as it is in my mind, the only way we can pay you back is to go back to our various schools and do the needful, impact lives, build destinies that will in turn make our nation a great place to be in. I believe that with this empowerment that we have gotten, if we work on what we have been that has been embedded in us, the spirit of Japa will reduce, brain drain will reduce, and we will see other people from other countries coming to Nigeria to be groomed. We are so grateful, Seplat Energy and NMPC. Thank you so much. We cannot thank you enough. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That vote of thanks from both teachers, male and female, symbolizes all that we have been saying today. I'd like to recognize the presence. She's been with us most of the day, Mrs. Sarah Ajose Adogo, the immediate past special advisor to the governor of Edo State on strategy. Please stand up to be recognized. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. I'd like to invite Uche Anajemba to come forward, and she has an announcement to make. A round of applause for our Seplat teachers.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me stand on existing protocols and just talk about what we're doing in terms of diversity and inclusion. So at Seplat Energy, we recognize that diversity is very critical to success of our business. And what that means for us is how can we hire the best women we can find anywhere in the world? How can we train them, retain them in the organization, and hopefully they can rise to management position. And you can see that demonstrated because our executive director for this initiative, external affairs and social performance, is a woman. So let's celebrate Seplat for what we're doing in that space. And this year, in the spirit of diversity and inclusion, our theme in Seplat is Amplify Her. So we are looking for opportunities to amplify women that are part of our stakeholders. So that includes both our employees, our teachers, our vendors, our neighbors that do work with us. And so on behalf of Seplat Energy and our senior partners, NEPL, we want to recognize the two most outstanding females for this STEP program for 2024. And they are Irodor Esther, representing Edo State. Where is she? Can we celebrate her? Remember, the theme is Amplify Her. Let's amplify her as she walks up to take a bow. Irodor Esther. Where is she? Okay, fantastic. On behalf of Seplat Energy and our senior partners, NEPL, we just want to present you with this gift. This bag represents a journey for you. May you go on many adventurous journeys of education and knowledge and empowerment. Thank you very much. And the second person is Christina Benson, representing Delta State. Christina Benson, is she in the room? Is she in the room? Okay. Does she have a friend in the room if she's not in the room? Does she have a friend or someone from Delta State that can get this gift on her behalf? All right, let's amplify whoever is coming forward to pick up a gift for her. Anyone? Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Ma. Thank you very much. Please, can we give her a round of applause as she received this on behalf of Christina Benson? Please send our congratulations to her as she receives this. Thank you, Ma. All right.
All right, thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We have spent 2 hours very, very well today. I don't know if anybody would like to give a goodwill speech, anything from us. On that note, I'd like everybody to be upstanding while we take the national anthem to end today's proceedings. Thank you very much. While we still have you, we would like to do some photo call right now. Yes, over here. I would like to invite you, Honorable Speaker. Stanley Okpara, can we have you here, please? Let's have you. COO, Delta State Commissioner, please. Yeah. My director, Uzoma. Emmanuel Otokine. NMPC. Yes. Where is Honorable Commissioner? Yes.
Oh yeah.
The rep of the Edo State House of, please, Edo State House of Assembly, please join. Come on. All right, let's have the 10 outstanding teachers, please. Some teachers, please go to the back of this. Quickly, the 10 outstanding teachers. Move briskly to the back. All right, can we have, now we have that, can we have our panelists join in this? All right, here to here. Please join us there. Join at the back quickly, so that we have a let's see. Just join at the back. All right, face the camera, please. Teachers, face the camera. Mr. Akogun, please. Are you there? Dr. Soji. Rhoda, is Rhoda there? Okay. Please let us. Because I saw that they are tall and go to the back. More teachers, yes. All right, after this, we can now break it down in bits again. All right, thank you. All right, teachers, you can leave. No. Wait, I want yeah. Sorry, madam, please. Where's our partner? Please, one more. Sorry, Uzoma. You know, wherever our CEO goes, that's Elsa. What do you mean? After this, all right, Esther Icha, please join. All right, thank you very much. Now, can we have Seplat GMs, our senior leadership, our GMs? All right, Seplat staff. Seplat staff. After staff and partner, because we are wearing the same shirts. Staff and partner. All right, Seplat teachers, we have not finished giving out your certificates. Oh, yes. Distinguished guests, our distinguished guests, please, Collins, please come and lead our guests for lunch. Our distinguished guests, please, Arrow, please, we have lunch. Sorry, please, let all the step teachers wait. There's going to be lunch for them. We want our distinguished guests to step out for lunch. While they step out for lunch, and Seplat senior leadership, together with our partners, to step out for lunch so that we can continue. Our panelists, led by Maurice Atoki, please. Lunch is served. Sorry, teachers, I'd like you to welcome specially somebody that we usually All right, just before we go for lunch, teachers, I'd like you to welcome specially somebody from the Cluster 3 on Education, SDG 4. Cluster 3, the Presidential Advisory Group on Education. She's representing that group. Please welcome Tonia Oduimo. She was here patiently watching what was going on. Herself and her group of companies, of which Seplat Energy is one, are going to be changing, hopefully, the face of education in Nigeria. Welcome, Tonia. Teachers, please be seated. Lunch is going to be served to you right now. All right, DJ. All right, teachers from Benin, kindly indicate by raising your hands. From Benin. Teachers from Benin, raise their hands. Please come. Raise their hands. Okay, come this way. Just come this way so that we don't waste time. Teachers from Benin who are not staying in the hotel, please go to the back there right now. All right, as they are there, we're going to be calling names so that you can have your certificate. Salome, please come support me. Yes. Salome, please call this person. Florence.
Singapore.